Welcome back. Sam Smith is back again with more attention-seeking vulgarity. They're never one to do things quietly in recent years. We have to remember call him they, their, them, even though there's only one of them. Remember the latex balloon at the Brits? But they've taken things up a notch, haven't they, with a new global tour criticised as hypersexualised and satanic. And apologise if you're easily offended for what you're about to see.
Brother,
Yeah, exactly. Well, joining me now is comedian James Barr and best-selling author of The Madness of Crowds, Douglas Murray. Well, Douglas, let me start with you. I don't get this Sam Smith thing. It just seems like every week he deliberately... I'm sorry, even though there's only one of them. Why is Sam Smith they?
No, please do address Douglas first, but I just need to correct you if you're going to misgender. That's how they identify themselves, Piers.
Why is one person they?
Because that's how they identify.
Why have I got to go along with it?
Because they've asked you to.
So what? No one's asked me to.
Even the Pope respects people's pronouns now.
I don't have to respect anybody's pronouns.
Well, that's fine, as long as that's your decision.
My pronoun is hottest man in the world.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to call you that.
Well, go on then.
Some may disagree, but if that's what you are, then cool, I will address you as the hottest man in the world.
Throughout the entire interview?
Throughout the entire interview.
OK, let's stick to that. Douglas, let's come back to you. You don't have to call me the hottest man in the world, even if you're thinking it. Sam Smith. To me, he's just on an ever-deteriorating campaign to be as vulgar and offensive as he possibly can. Am I missing something?
He's doing what pop stars have done for decades, which is trying to shock as a means to get publicity. And, of course, it's pretty successful. I mean, we're talking about him at the moment. But it's striking that it's sort of very unoriginal. I mean, all the stuff he's doing, the sort of over-sexualized stuff, the sort of satanic stuff. Madonna did this 40 years ago. Pop stars have done this and more for decades now. I think the only thing that Sam Smith has got sort of going for him on this, and the thing actually is making people notice him on this, is that, first of all, he keeps sort of throwing these bollards in the way of everyone by changing his alleged gender all the time. You know,
okay,
he came out some years ago.
Why do you say, James? I'll bring you in.
He came out many years ago as gay, and then he said he was actually gender queer, and then he said he was non-binary, and he said he didn't know what it meant. Of course he didn't, because there's no such thing. But he said that they were going to. He said that he thought that he was gender queer. And he didn't know what it meant, but he said that he would explain it someday when he did know. And I sort of think, if you're going to make everyone else distort the language, you should know what you're talking about first. So he does that to get publicity, obviously. And the other thing he does is he does this sort of taking all his clothes off stuff. And the thing that makes it different from other people is that when, I don't know, Justin Timberlake or Rihanna or someone stripped down, they do so because they look good, like their bodies look good. Sam Smith is like pudgy and very ugly. And so people look at it and he looks ridiculous. And the problem is that he's saying, don't ridicule me. But it's hard not to ridicule people when they present themselves
as disgusting.
Ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
OK, on that point, I completely agree. Why say don't ridicule me when you deliberately make yourself look ridiculous?
No, that is disgusting. That is a completely disgusting.
Well, it is disgusting, yeah. We do find it disgusting.
No, what you're saying is
Why?
disgusting.
We're allowed to find it disgusting.
No, you are not.
Yes,
you
I am.
Keep commenting on what people look like all the time.
Yes, I can. If they're going to dress like that on a stage in front of millions of people around the world, absolutely I can.
Thank you for getting the pronoun correct. I really appreciate that. Listen,
did I?
Douglas, yes, you did.
Well, have you called me mine?
Hottest man in the world, Piers, according to Selma and yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, the Pope recently said they completely accept every gender identity and that everyone is a child.
Why should anyone be compelled to use a pronoun from someone who's changed their own identity 3 times in 3 years?
I just want to go back as well. I think it's very important to note that other pop stars have done this, including Lewis Capaldi, who recently did a campaign where he was naked on a billboard, and there were nowhere near as many vile comments at Lewis Capaldi's body. The only reason there's a problem for Sam doing it is because you aren't happy with his gender identity. identity because it makes you feel insecure.
No, I don't care about his gender identity. I just don't feel I can be compelled to use pronouns. I don't care about
that. That's fine. Don't use them if you don't want to. It's wrong, but that's totally
Well, you just told me I had to.
No, I think you should, but if you don't want to,
so I don't have
to. Piers, shut up.
Well, I'm not Piers. I'm hottest man alive.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you're changing your name now. You're no longer.
But my point about Sam Smith is it's just an orgy of, in my view, narcissistic, self-indulgent, deliberately shocking stuff. And Douglas has got a point. He looks terrible.
Okay, so
why would you do this?
You're friends with Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Yeah.
And Ozzy Osbourne ate a bat's head on stage.
Yeah.
That could be considered vulgar. I mean, he basically
Ozzy Osbourne never did anything like this.
He started the COVID pandemic.
What?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's sexy. I think it's inspirational.
You think that's sexy?
That is, and that's someone exploring.
Do you think what we're looking at right now is sexy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Would you shag it?
Would I shag it, did you say?
Well, there's a question.
Yeah, absolutely I would have sex with Sam. Thank you for asking.
You're a braver
would you,
man
Douglas?
than me.
Because it sounds like you're a little bit too obsessed with them, if I'm honest with you.
No, I can assure you I'm not. I know what I like, and I don't like fat, blubbery show-offs who look hideous, dressed in lacy pants with their fat spilling out everywhere and doing it in front of as many people as possible to gain attention. I just don't find that sexy. I'm old-fashioned.
I think you're friends with Piers Morgan.
Well, you'll notice, of course, that Piers hasn't appeared on this show naked with nipple tassels on. I mean, that's one big starter, isn't it?
Yet.
Daddy, chill.
I want to quote the Pope again, because the Pope has done this
Why?
documentary.
Are you a Catholic? Do you think we're
I'm not,
all
but I think it's
Catholics?
really
Well, I am a
important.
Catholic,
I think it's
so what are you
great. So
quoting?
the Pope said that to express yourself sexually is a richness, and that anything that detracts from real sexual expression lessens you and depletes that richness.
But he's not doing this for sexual expression.
Oh, dear
He's
God.
doing this just
You're
to...
just picking any
He's doing it just to be
Why
deliberately
don't you both
offensive.
just go back to clutching your pearls, go back to
I don't have any
England.
pearls.
Okay.
Douglas, are we misreading the room here? Are there millions of young people around the world watching this thinking he's the hottest thing on a stage anywhere in the world right now and we should just get used to it?
No, I don't think so at all. No gay guys I know are attracted to this. Everyone thinks it's just kind of ugly and stupid, and it's attention-grabbing and much more. I think Sam Smith's a person of limited talent myself. I don't much care for his voice. Wow. But the point is that, of course, he just kind of goes around and tries to make headlines. And as I say, he's pretty successful at doing that. But I don't think anyone finds it sexy. I don't know any woman who finds it sexy. I don't know any gay man who finds it sexy. Most gay men I know are attracted to men because they're men. Sam Smith, by the way, he's always trying to cop off with people like Tom Daley and things.
I don't think you can speak for all gay men, to be honest with you, Douglas. Those are pretty much your own words from things I've heard you say before. You can't speak for an entire community.
No, I don't try to. I don't believe there's any such thing as a gay community or an LGBTQIA+2
I think actually, if you think this show is offensive, you should come to my
else.
stand-up show, because compared to that, Sam Smith's tour is a love letter to Christianity and Jesus.
Really?
So I'll see you at my tour. Starts tomorrow, by the way.
We don't care.
I didn't know you were touring, but good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what, James? Best of luck with the tour. You're never going to persuade me, and clearly not Douglas either, that Sam Smith is anything other than an attention seeker. Because...
But this whole debate is attention-seeking. Isn't being an artist about attention-seeking?
Well, it could
be. The whole point?
It could be, but when you're just going to that kind of length just to be deliberately, slobbishly offensive, I think it's unacceptable.
But you're doing what you would say is slobbishly offensive. You're doing that right now by saying vulgar things about Sam Smith and deliberately misgendering
but I'm not
them.
wearing a Satan outfit.
Doesn't matter what you decide is right or wrong.
Naked and semi-naked.
And once again, if you act in a vulgar way, you should expect people to be vulgar about you, probably.
I think that's the point. If you're going to do what he does, it's a bit like Madonna, you know, when she says, stop objectifying me. What else are we supposed to do with Madonna, given that all she ever does is demand we objectify?
You know what? You're both cis, white, straight men. You can carry on.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hang on, right? Piers, wait a second. What did he just say?
What did you call us? Repeat it for Douglas.
I said you were both... I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Cis, white...
I think you said... OK, why don't you shut up for a moment?
Straight,
I think you said...
Well, Douglas isn't straight.
I think you said that we're both...
Douglas?
I think you said we're both cis, white, straight men. First of all, I am white. Secondly, I am a man. Thirdly, I've been out and gay my entire adult life, which is about 25 years now. I don't know how old you are.
But I
was out as gay when you were still prancing around talking about whether or not you were. So do be quiet. Do stop judging other people. And if I were you, I'd do a little bit of research.
Are you joking?
I would do a
Oh my God, Douglas, that's ridiculous. I'm not the one judging other people here. I'm just pointing out facts. I'm sorry I got your sexuality wrong.
No, if I were you, I would do the tiniest bit of research before opening your mouth. You're embarrassing yourself. That's probably why people wouldn't want to come to your show.
I don't think so. I think you're embarrassing yourself.
Gentlemen,
you're a shame to the queer
community. You know what? I tell you who's really embarrassing.
I'm not a member of the queer community, you stupid sod.
I tell you,
I'm not a member of the queer community.
The person who ultimately is genuinely
community?
embarrassing himself, herself, themselves, whatever, is Sam